how to avoid crashing your motorbike. Yeah, I crashed mine twice. Come on. But there's a couple of reasons why, which I'll talk about, and hopefully you can implement them and then mitigate you. But it is kind of, come on, he's sending it. It's one of those things where it's that saying where it's like, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And to a certain extent, it's kind of right, because we all do the same thing. We get a lovely bike like this. We're very nervous. We baby the bike. We learn how to ride it. We slowly get more confident. Then we all think we're Valentino. Me. And then you start getting more excited, start to push the boundaries, have a bit of fun, and then you learn some lessons and get yourself into some situations that you might have not been ready for, which is exactly what I did. Dozo times. But I learned from them, and I've implemented the practice to get better at them, and now I know what to do in those situations. So the first one is obviously confidence. Shall I ride the bike? I probably should ride the bike, shouldn't I? Code FUZE down below, making content easy, not having to blow my plate, 10% off your order. But we're obviously now going back on the road, so I'll put the lock and shim in place, and now we've got a solid bracket. This is the new road. I like exploring. What was I going to say? Right, yeah, so I crashed twice, and they both kind of involved the same circumstance, which was braking for me, for both of them, but they also mixed in with a load of other things, which we will talk about. Number one being your confidence. As you ride, the hardest thing is to keep yourself in check and make sure that you're not getting overconfident while riding. And it's so hard because it gets so fun, and you start to get loose, and you're like, oh, I can really start to swing this thing round. It's like, okay, cool. And then it just, you end up putting yourself into a more risky situation the more you get better at riding, because it's just, yeah, it's just one of those things. You just get better, and then you want to push it more, and you get more excited, and then it leads to other things. So confidence is definitely one you need to keep yourself in check, which can be done for a while just because of pure fear, but it is inevitable that you will push the boundaries. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is knowing that whatever you're getting excited about, so say going fast, or say going around a corner, or say heavy braking, whatever one of those things you're practicing and getting good at, you need to make sure you do those other things as well just as much. So I was having fun pushing the limits, getting rid of my chicken lines, going a bit quick to the speed limit, but I wasn't practicing braking. I was like, boring. Boring. I wasn't doing it, and then that led to having a bit of fun, and then suddenly being met with a situation where I had to do some nice heavy braking, and I completely messed it up because I hadn't practiced it at all. I was too scared to grab a whole load of front brake and a whole load of rear brake, and I literally barely slowed down. This guy suddenly slammed on the brakes and wanted to do a U-turn when you can't do a U-turn there, wanted to go on the opposite side of the road. I didn't want to go on the right side of him because I thought he was going to do a U-turn, and then I would have went over the bonnet. So I tried to slow down, but then I couldn't, so I went left, and then he suddenly went left as well, and then the gap got smaller. Police. Ah! And then, yeah, I hit his side mirror and my arm against his mirror, and that was it really. That's all that happened. It wasn't too crazy, but then I decided to drop the bike because I thought I broke my arm, so I just panicked and just dropped the bike on the floor, made the situation way worse than it needed to be. Anyway, we sorted all of that out, but that was a result of getting too confident. But then, where are we? This is pretty nice. Getting too confident, but then not practicing the other things that I was also like not focusing on, which was braking, and that then caused me to not be able to deal with the situation that I was getting excited about. So you just got to make sure you cover all three areas as you get more confident, and make sure you're covered. Don't get too lost with the fun stuff. Make sure you do the boring stuff as well, because it's going to save you from the fun stuff. So yeah, that first one really is just that beginning stage of riding, because that was what led up to my first crash. It was just confidence and confidence and confidence, getting quicker and quicker and quicker, but then not practicing braking to deal with the situations that I was getting myself in with that more confidence. So you just have to make sure you cover all three bases and make sure you're practicing everything, not just the fun stuff. That's the one tip I can give you, which will heavily help you in a crash, is brakes. Keep your confidence in check and get on those brakes and practice emergency stops from mid corners, from straights, all of that stuff you need to be practicing. Then that leads on to the second time I crashed, which was actually within the same month. Come on. And that was at a night ride. Stupidly chose looks over convenience. Oh, that's how you get on top of that bridge. Sick. Now I know how to get there. I chose looking cool over being able to see, because I had a tinted visor on at night, silly boy. And then obviously my confidence was still peaking. I didn't probably learn as much from that first crash as I should have. I was still like Mr. Cocky, and I got back on the bike and I was sending it at the speed limit with a tinted visor, showing off, which is the big main next one, is riding with other people who have faster bikes, more tech, more road experience, and you're trying to keep up with them. Gets you into trouble, mate. So ride your own ride is the second one that led to this crash, is ride your own ride. Do not try and show off or keep up with everyone else, because it will lead to situations that they might be able to deal with, down to their ability and their tech and other situations. And then you might not be able to deal with that because you might be at a lower level than them, or maybe have a worse bike. And that was kind of all the factors that came into the situation that happened in the evening. We were coming down the straight road. I've got a video on it already, but I think I've got some footage I'll put on screen if I can be bothered. Probably can't. But we were coming down to this road. Down this road, I used to think it was straight. I've been on the new roundabout a couple of times, but I wasn't even thinking. It was late at night and I was too busy showing off and having a good time and trying to keep up with the people on the newer bikes that are a lot faster and a lot better brakes. So it comes to coming down this road, I look up, oh my god, everyone's braking. I guess this is where that roundabout was. Oops. I've then decided, cool, let's slam on the brakes. So I've pulled a load of front brake, a little bit more than before, because I'd been practicing braking a little bit, but not a lot. And then I slammed the rear brake, started sliding it, and then I was like, sick, that roundabout's right there, and I'm not going to stop in time. So I had to let go of all the brakes, and then flew over the roundabout, knocked myself out, hurt all my shoulder and my neck, couldn't move for ages, the bike was ruined, all of that good stuff. Whoop-de-doo, I crashed. As a result of not learning from the last one, and then still having a load of confidence, but the main thing being trying to show off and keep up with the other big boys. So again, ride your own ride. Get your confidence up, deal with yourself, but even when you're out, it's even harder to rein your confidence in and like keep yourself in check, because you just get excited. Like everyone's just sort of going and you're like, oh mate, this is sick, I don't want to be left behind, and then yeah, you get yourself into a sticky situation. So if you can avoid, I guess the main two things is, if you can avoid getting overconfident, if you can practice every element of riding, not just the fun stuff, so braking, don't be stupid and wear a tinted visor at night, don't show off, don't try to keep up with people with better bikes, better tech, remember the machine that you're on, don't use the rear brake. Nah, the rear brake's alright, but I just literally heavily use the front now. But just practice and don't get overconfident. Those are the main two things. If you know that you can stop on a dime whenever you need to, so let's say if I was going down this road, I'm not going to do it now because this old woman's staring at me and I'm embarrassed, but say I was going down this road and I suddenly needed to stop, I'll do it after this Fiat because now they're not looking at me. So just randomly, just to practice, slamming on those brakes and getting yourself down to a stop, because you never know when you're going to need that. So I do that quite a lot now, and I'm very in tune with my braking, which I wasn't before because I've took it seriously and I learnt from that last crash big time, and I've reined my confidence in. If the boys are sending it at the speed limit and they've got way better brakes, more confidence, more ability, then I will simply hold back and I'll catch them up later. It's fine. We're all going the same place. I don't need to try and be on the knife's edge with everyone. I can take my humble self down a couple of notches and get there where I want to get there. It's all just a mixture of that. If you do those couple of things, I can literally tell you all you want, because I just watch videos like this. I can yap on about this all day, but you're not going to listen. I didn't listen. No one listens. You think you know best, which is the only way you can learn, is you have to teach yourself it. So all I say is, at least do the bare minimum of just getting some brake practice in, do some emergency stop practices. That's all I'll say, because everything else is completely up to you, because you're not going to listen, because I didn't. No one does, yeah? You've got to teach yourself for the rest of it, but at least practice your braking and try stay within your limits and don't get overconfident, but it is inevitable. You are going to get confident and you're going to want to push the boundaries. So just know that there's an element of risk with it. We're all probably going to crash at some point, let's be honest. We can't really mitigate it. You can last a long time, yes, if you bumble around at 30 miles an hour everywhere. But if you like to have a bit of fun, you want to push the boundaries and learn some stuff, then it's just part of the game. You're going to slip up at some point and you're going to have to save yourself. So just make sure you're ready to save yourself. That's the main point. So yeah, hopefully that helps. and mitigate some little accidents. Don't end up like me and having to be in bed for 3 weeks and not be able to do anything, and then have a completely ruined bike, and then owe a load of people money. Shout out to all the boys and my parents. It's very strange. Some people are so angry that like people helped me out with a rebuild. It's like, sorry, I've got good friends and family. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just out here scamming people. I literally paid everyone back. So I don't know why everyone's so angry about it. Either way, yeah, just be safe. Try to take some of those points on board. But like I say, just practice your braking. That's the main thing that caused both of my crashes. Really, is braking. Obviously, on top of all the other stuff, but braking would have helped me a lot. Anyway, that's enough from me. Ride safe, and I'll see you later.